Hello there, I'm Gloria Makarenko. Well, today, a little local art therapy as creativity comes in many forms in our city. This is Our Vancouver. Coming up, reclaiming culture by revisiting the teenage bedroom. And did someone say street party? The beloved Parade of Lost Souls is back. But first, medicine in the form of a paintbrush and a passion for local landscape. Now, this is a story about finding one's artistic voice, even when it's hard to breathe, and also about how fueling passion can make all the difference. With us today is Burnette Gilles, a self-taught artist, joining us from her studio in Maple Ridge. Burnette, hello there.
Hi, Gloria.
I see some of your beautiful art pieces there behind you, and I'm really impressed with this whole self-taught aspect of it. How did this all start for you?
Well, what happened was I was diagnosed with an interstitial lung disease, and it was associated with my rheumatoid arthritis
Okay,
in 2018.
right. And what does
So,
that mean? What does news like that do to a person?
well, it's devastating because your whole self is transformed into someone else because you have to deal with not being socialized with people because I had to wear a mask long before this COVID came out because I couldn't, my immune system is so low that I couldn't go out. So I needed to find something that could keep me indoors and keep my mind occupied on not the disease and having
Right,
fun with my life. Yeah.
right. Okay, so enter
Yeah.
painting. Where did you start with it all?
Oh, okay. I use acrylic on canvas and I take photographs of different things and then I put my own spin on it. So, like the flamingo one, for example, is a photograph and that I took and I just made it an abstract painting.
How long does it take you to complete a piece?
On an average, I would say about 50 hours.
I see. But I mean, in terms of technique and this whole, were you just, was it trial and error? How many pieces did you throw out before you were happy or paint over?
Well, I was very fortunate because I actually only threw one away, and they just seem to flow. I'm in the zone when I'm painting, so I do little tiny bits at a time, and I have to walk away and then come back to see what I've done because I just can't see the full picture until I walk away, and that's probably how I do it.
You have fresh eyes. Okay.
Yes.
Has it had the desired effect? You said you wanted to take your mind off your health issues. What kind of zone do you get into when you are painting?
Well, it's a square about 4 inch by 6 inch on the painting, and I just completely block everything out but the painting. I don't even my husband says I can't even get a hold of you when you're painting.
I see. But what I was saying though, does it serve its purpose? Does it help you just go
Yes,
somewhere else in your mind?
it really does. It really does. It helps me a lot. And
Has it had an impact, Burnette, on your health prognosis?
yes, totally. I believe it has. I mean, obviously, I exercise and eat right and all that stuff, but the positive thinking is really made a big difference. And the positive thinking was with my art because I thought I'm not just gonna sit around and wallow in this. I have to do something. I have to be creative. I have to be out there, and it worked. It totally worked. I'm feeling great. My disease is in control. I have a group of doctors, 4 doctors that are absolutely amazing, and they and At the beginning, I was seeing them every month, and now I'm only seeing them every 6 months.
Oh, that is good news. That is good news. What, was
Yeah,
there a moment when you just kind of had this realization, this is exactly what I needed?
yes, yes. And that realization was not long ago, actually, because it took, I was on the lung transplant team, and it took almost 2 years. Well, it did take 2 years for them to finish their exams and that. And then when they were done, I just started feeling better and getting a handle on my life, because it totally changed me. I'm a different person. So now I'm living with this person, and I like it.
A creative person. You found
Yeah,
this inner artist. Now, for someone watching this right now
exactly.
and saying, gee, I wonder if I could do that. Like, what would you suggest? Where's a good place to start for someone who just wants to try out their own artistic endeavors?
Well, I say grab a pencil and a canvas, start drawing and start painting.
That easy. Just that easy.
That, well, it is. It really is. Grab something, an object, anything, paint it, or even just something out of your mind. Be artistic. Be like abstract. Yeah, and you can feel the joy in it. You really can. When you're done and you look at the picture and you go, I did that. And then you go, I did. Yay, me.
Where would you like to take this, Burnette? Is there a particular goal here, or is this just slow and steady as she goes?
It's slow and steady, but I do have a goal. I'm a part of the Federation of Canadian Artists, and right now I'm an active member. And there's two other memberships that you can be. You can be associate and you can be a signature. Signature being the highest one. And my goal is to become a signature member.
Well, all the best to you on that endeavor, and congratulations in turning something that was pretty dire into a positive. Really nice to meet you today.
It's really nice to meet you too.
Hi, my name is Michaela, and you're watching Our Vancouver.
All right, this is time for one of our favorite features, when we get to showcase a number of the photographs that are sent in by you, our audience. Sarmina Tariq was out for a walk in Richmond near the casino and saw this little bunny hiding in the bushes. Thank you so much for sharing that. We needed that today. Azad Sidhu gives us this lovely sunset view of Lady Peak next to Mount Cheam. What a gorgeous view. Thank you. And finally, Alex Anderson took in some seasonal fun, even in the wet weather. Lady Pumpkin Patch in Maple Ridge. Adorable image there, Alex. Thank you so much. And please send us more. Just email your favorite shots to us, bcphotos@cbc.ca. That's bcphotos@cbc.ca. Now think about this. Imagine being back in your teenage bedroom. Vancouver artist Sandeep Johal is reclaiming her teen years by reimagining them with more South Asian role models. And her retrospective redesign is all part of a new exhibit at the Surrey Art Gallery. And the CBC got a tour. Just watch.
Hi, I'm Sandeep Johal. I'm a local visual artist and muralist, and I'm standing in the space where my new solo show, What If, is showing at Surrey Art Gallery. So essentially, we're looking at a loose recreation of my teenage bedroom, and I'm revisiting and reimagining what it would have been like if I had grown up with access to South Asian female role models. Back in the 90s when the Spice Girls came out, I was like, they're so cool, they're like so empowered. And then, later on you realize it was this sort of prefabricated band. I wanted to sort of recontextualize that and think of, well, who would my Spice Girls be if I could make my own sort of Spice Girls reference? And so I created a textile in the style of the poster, and I chose 5 women from my series to be the Spice Girls. So it's Phoolan Devi, India's bandit queen, Sophia Duleep Singh, who was a prominent suffragette, Lakshmi Bai, the Rani of Jhansi, who was a leading figure in the 1857 rebellion against the British. And then there's Sampat Pal Devi, who's the founder of the Glubby Gang, which is a vigilante group of women who kind of do old school justice. And then Jaya Ben Desai, the workers' rights activist. I was really looking for South Asian female trailblazers and pioneers and women who really showed a lot of resilience and perseverance in situations that we would find really oppressive or really difficult to move through and push through. I grew up in a small town in Kelowna in the Okanagan, and there was a very small South Asian population. You know, when you're looking at magazines and you're looking at pop culture and you don't see yourself, you don't see people who look like you, and you don't really see that reflected in the people around you, it can feel very isolating. And I think as many first-generation kids do, you kind of turn your back on your culture and you just try to conform and be like your friends. And there's, you know, in adulthood, I felt a deep shame around those feelings that I had, those feelings of embarrassment and shame around my heritage, because I'm so proud to be South Asian and I wouldn't want to be part of any other culture. I think our culture is very special.
All right, are you ready to sing and rap along with a new show? U.S. rapper and actor Chris "Ludacris" Bridges has launched his new animated series for kids. And this series follows 10-year-old Karma Grant as she dreams of musical stardom and changing the world. CBC Kids News contributor Arjun Ram sat down with the creator and the executive producer to find out more about what inspired this new show.
What's up, guys? So the last time you saw me do a vibe check, I was on a red carpet premiere in real life. But you know what? This is a lot more common these days. I'm currently sitting in front of my computer waiting to attend a red carpet premiere for Netflix's new show, Karma's World. I'm going to be speaking to the creator and executive producer, Chris Bridges. But you may know him by his rap name, Ludacris. All right, I'm about to hop on this call and chat with him. Check it out.
I am Karma. Tell 'em who's the queen and I follow my dreams. Go Karma. And to all the boys and girls, let's change the world. Go
Karma, Earth to Karma. Let me guess. Lost in your own personal music video.
You said the show Karma's World was inspired by your daughter Karma. Can you tell us about how she inspired you?
So my daughter inspired me because when she was 6 years old, she would always barge into my home studio and say she wanted to rap too. And I had to sit her down and say, if you want to do music, you have to talk about what goes on in your life and your world, because that's what daddy does. And it birthed this idea to come up with this concept and try to come up with characters and do music. And it took over a decade, man, of ups and downs and different phases of perfecting the music, the characters, but we're finally here, but that's what inspired us.
Here at CBC Kids News, whenever we have a guest for a vibe check, we love to do rapid fire questions. So whenever you're ready, I was wondering if I could ask you some rapid fire questions for some quick responses.
Of course.
All right, if you could only pick one, which one would it be? Write a song, produce a show, or act in a movie?
I'd say write a song.
What is your favorite era of hip hop?
The Ludacris era.
The Ludacris era. I knew I was gonna get that answer. You're sitting down and you're watching a new episode of your favorite show. What is your go-to snack?
Doritos.
Doritos. And my
Cool
last
Ranch.
question. Cool Ranch? Oh, I don't know if I'm a huge Cool Ranch fan. But what is on your Netflix watch list right now, and what are you excited to watch next?
Squid Games, man. I keep hearing about this, so I gotta check that out.
Which rapper has the best clothing style?
Man, that's a good question. I guess I would say, damn, who does have the best clothing style? People who probably don't just go out and buy just name brand stuff. That are just really eccentric and wild with their clothing. So I would have to name someone like, I guess maybe Andre 3000, just eccentric, yeah.
My last question to you, if you could only take one album with you to a deserted island, what would it be?
The Chronic album, Dr.
Oh,
Dre.
Dr. Dre, okay. Mr. Bridges, I want to thank you for your time. It was truly an honor to speak with you.
For sure, you too, man, thank you.
Now, after a year-long hiatus, family-run haunted houses are getting ready to bring thrills and chills to people of all ages this year. And as Janella Hamilton reports, the spooky season excitement is a small sense of normalcy for people who love Halloween.
The soothing sounds that usually help children sleep is the nightmarish soundtrack to this year's Haunt of Edgemont. Complete with a killer bunny, a scary Sandman, and a terrifying Tooth Fairy, Trevor Watson says this year's haunted house is not for the faint of heart.
I think it's probably our most terrifying year yet.
For more than a decade, Watson and his wife Jody have transformed their home into a gory graveyard full of creepy crawlies and terrifying sounds. Last year, that longtime tradition was paused due to pandemic restrictions. Now, Watson and his wife are getting creative, finding a safe way to bring that spooky spirit back to life.
I had a gentleman here this morning, and he was just so happy that we were going to be doing it because he, like everybody else, just wanted to feel like it was normal again.
And even the kids in the neighborhood are excited to see ghouls and goblins rise from the dead.
I hear the kids go by and they're like, oh God, the fence is up, it's coming, it's coming.
Yeah. It's almost too compact, I think.
For Trina Rundgren and her husband Sean, it's all about the screams.
First scream of the year always sends just a little tingle of excitement down my spine.
A sense of excitement that was dulled after having to make the difficult decision to cancel last year's House of Horrors.
It's giving people something to look forward to just forget about all the troubles we've had this past year and a half and just have fun.
Fun for community members and the creators themselves.
There's all sorts of things about Halloween that are just fun. It's a day where we get to be kids, we get to be crazy, silly, goofy.
And while there is a lot to celebrate, the province is reminding the public that provincial health orders are still in place. Rundgren says while providing a safe outlet for kids to dress up and have some festive fun is top of mind, it's also an important time to give back.
We collect for the Vancouver Food Bank, and I think this year even more than others is more important, that a lot of people have suffered.
The Haunt of Edgemont in North Vancouver is also by donation, with proceeds going to the BC Professional Firefighters Burn Fund. Janella Hamilton, CBC News, Vancouver.
Coming up, the science behind the atmospheric river phenomenon. Johanna Wagstaff is going to explain right after the break.
Several days of steady rain, mild temperatures, and gusty winds to boot. If this just sounds like a typical West Coast weather, you could be right, but it could also be an atmospheric river, also known as a pineapple express or just plain fire hose. This weather phenomenon occurs when a narrow corridor of concentrated moisture is transported great distances. On the west coast of North America, these narrow bands are typically only a few hundred kilometers wide, but several thousand kilometers long, transporting moisture and temperatures, in some cases, all the way from Japan or Hawaii. In the latter case, these events have become known as Pineapple Express because, in this case, the source of the warm, moist air being directed towards the Pacific Northwest is Hawaii, where pineapples are grown. So what drives such a strong and narrow current? Well, typically it's the jet stream. It acts as a conveyor belt for the moisture. Waves of low pressure systems then travel along the axis, enhancing the rainfall in waves. Pretty daunting stuff for such a poetic name, atmospheric river. The technical term was coined by a couple of MIT researchers in the late 1990s who characterized the long, narrow plumes of rain that resembled rivers within the atmospheric flow. The researchers also found that more than 90% of the global transport of water vapor from the equator northward is thanks to these atmospheric events, even though they cover less than 10% of the Earth's circumference. So while they are often very disruptive for those at the receiving end, severe flooding, mudslides, snowmelt, they're also a huge part of the global water cycle. So is this really just a West Coast phenomenon? Mainly yes. But that's not to say the rest of Canada doesn't experience them in one form or another. Often these warm tropical air masses will hop over the Rockies, being drained of their moisture. They'll result in Chinook winds, or they'll reform as storms, making it all the way to the East Coast with rain, winds, and snow a few days later. So regardless of where you are across the country, all aboard the Pineapple Express. And now, your Science Smart. If you've got a science question on your mind, send me a tweet and I'll try to get it answered.
Well, it really feels like the joy and the fun of Halloween is back in a big way this year. The Parade of Lost Souls event is back in person with so much music and motion for you to join in on. Well, Kat Singledane is a co-founder and artistic executive director with the Dusty Flower Pot Society. Kat, hello again.
Hi, Gloria. Thank you for having me.
So nice to see you. So just how excited are you to be back in person with your beloved street party?
Very excited to be back in person. We are a company that thrives on in-person contact. So we're all very excited, for
Awesome.
sure.
So what about the parade, first off? What are you asking participants to do when they're joining?
Well, the parade is really what I say is that it's by the people, for the people. So it was started by families in East Vancouver who just wanted something to do during the Halloween weekend that wasn't based on candy and had some creativity for the adults to express themselves with, right? So it maintains that same spirit. We want people to come out and be the parade themselves. There's lots happening. There's so many artists who are on the route that I actually had to extend the route this year. However, all of the people who come to the parade are also the parade. So come with a costume. You could even come with an art installation if you like, and you can set it up somewhere. You don't even have to contact me. Sometimes I get surprised by people who have set up something on the route, and then I get to say hello and sometimes work with them the next year too. So that kind of thing is really welcome.
Well, and part of the fun is not just the parade, but the lead up to the parade, right? What kinds of workshops can people join to help prepare?
Yeah, well, we have the Thriller workshop is back, people by popular demand. It is so popular. We've had up to 45 people in a single workshop for the Thriller flash mob, which will happen outdoors. Of course, the whole event is outdoors. And so there's one more Thriller workshop that people could potentially attend. There's the Time Warp, and there's also a giant puppet making workshop that happens on the day of the parade. So people could come to Britannia and help to create a giant puppet and actually operate it for the night of if they want to.
Oh, I love that idea. So what else is new for this year's event?
Well, every year we have a mix of returning artists. Lots of artists have actually been involved for up to 30 years from the beginning of the Parade of Lost Souls. And then we also have new artists every year. And this year we have a lot of new exciting installations. There's going to be an interactive karaoke, live band karaoke by a Korean music community, Music Vancouver. There's an Powerhouse, an Indigenous clown collective that's curating their own performance and art installation. There's Mariachi Los Dorados for the first time. I've always wanted to have them at Parade. They're a Mexican brass band, and Balka Schmalkin. And we also have the Wizards of Radular, who will be helping to repel the forces of Bogus.
Well, and that's quite the legacy when you're talking 30 years here, and it keeps morphing and evolving as you go along. What about the planning and the preparation that has to go into this massive community event?
I sigh when you say that. It's a lot of work, it's true, and it's a lot of fun. And the way that I've made it more fun for myself this year is I've created this idea of an open house, happy hour, costume sale every Friday leading up to Parade. So people, anyone, can come down to our studio and join me. I'm here every Friday, and they can volunteer, they can help us make crafts, they could look through all our costumes, and they can buy costumes for donation. They can see the renovation that we're in at the studio. We're improving the studio at the moment. And they can just chit chat, and we can talk about what they might want to do at Parade. So that makes it more fun for me, is the interaction, the people, and it is a lot of work, but it's so worth it, or else I would not be doing it year after year.
Okay, well, and so this is the Dusty Flower Pot Society. When you're talking about people coming to the studio, where exactly are you?
We're contained in the Artiste building, so that's at Scotia and 5th, and it's hard to find the first time you go through the north alleyway. and find us there. But you can look online. You know, our website has all that information.
Well, it sounds like
more.
you are
Yeah.
set. So all the best in the lead up to the parade and have a wonderful time, okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, Gloria. Oh, I guess it's my time to go.
If you want to get into the Halloween spirit, there are other activities. You can get scared either in person or at home with the Vancouver Horror Show Film Festival. 46 short films and 3 features are on the list. The fun begins October 26th. Go to the website for details. And Man Farms in Abbotsford has what's being called the scariest corn maze in Canada. And it includes live action as actors dressed as ghosts and ghouls are there to give you a delightful fright. Just go to manfarms.com. That's manfarms.com for more information.
Hey, I'm Grant Lawrence from CBC Music, here to introduce you to an amazing roots rock musician from Northern Ontario. Adrian Sutherland is a Cree artist and activist from Attawapiskat, Ontario, a fly-in community located over 200 kilometers northwest of Moosonee on the shores of James Bay. But the remote location has not stopped Adrian from carving out a career as a musician, most notably in his all-Cree rock band, Midnight Shine.
I might get lost, but I'll find my way to where the home fires burn, where I know you'll be. Sit with you by the fire, underneath the trees, beneath the stars. I am another man.
Yeah, that is Northern Ontario band Midnight Shine with their breakthrough radio hit, Northern Man. Since their formation in 2011, Midnight Shine has released a string of well-received singles and albums, including this notable cover.
I wanna live, I wanna give. I've been a miner for a heart of gold. It's these expressions I never give that keep me searching for a heart of gold. And I'm getting old.
Yeah, that's Midnight Shine with their acclaimed version of Neil Young's Heart of Gold, complete with a verse in Cree. And the video for that song has racked up more than 250,000 views. And even though Midnight Shine has had lots of success, lead singer and songwriter Adrian Sutherland has chosen to remain in Attawapiskat, where he has become a vocal advocate for clean drinking water for all First Nations across Canada and has helped amplify the urgent need to address the high rates of Indigenous youth suicide. Thoughts that he put into a heartbreaking song called I Need Angels.
It's a darkness I don't want taking my light. It won't leave me alone like a dark shadow, stuck in a gaze, staring at this blank canvas. Won't you help me find my way? I need angels, I need angels. Lost my wings, can't fly, save me with grace.
That is Midnight Shine with a bit of I Need Angels from 2018. This year, Adrian Sutherland has broken out on his own with an excellent debut solo album called When the Magic Hits. The first single is titled Right Here, about being there for the people you love and care about.
Come with me, I'll take you home. Walk with me so you're not alone. Waking alive, staring at me like a ghost, back from the dead. She pulls me close and holds me tight, tells me everything's gonna be alright.
There you go. That's Adrian Sutherland from Attawapiskat, Ontario, with his great new song right here. And that video was put together from over 1,600 iPhone selfies that Adrian shot. And they do a pretty amazing job showing us the land and water that Adrian Sutherland calls home around James Bay. And from wherever you are from in Canada, right here is the tune that you need to add to your playlist right now. I'm Grant Lawrence from CBC Music. I'll check in with you again soon.
Coming up, one ray of light after a dangerous hot summer. The wine grapes that survived are in great condition. You are watching Our Vancouver. I'm Gloria Makarenko. Now, grape harvesting season is here for Okanagan winemakers. And though this summer's record heat and wildfires certainly put a damper on crop yields, the intense conditions just may have produced some spectacular wines. Brady Strachan explains.
That's a massive cluster, my God.
The grapes at this vineyard in Oliver are in the final stage of ripening. These giant clusters hanging from the lush grapevines will soon be crushed and made into red wine. It's an exciting time for winemaker Barclay Robinson.
I'm seeing fantastic flavors across the board in our whites and our rosés and then our reds that are coming in right now.
The hot and dry summers in the South Okanagan make it an ideal place to grow wine grapes. But this season has been a challenging one for farmers. Out-of-control wildfires filled the valley with smoke, and an intense heat wave saw temperatures reach into the high 40s. These extreme temperatures led to poorer fruit-setting grape plants and reduced yields, anywhere from 15 to 30%, depending on the variety. However, winemakers say the exceptionally hot and dry summer also helped to concentrate the flavors within the berries.
That concentration of flavor is going to give fantastic wines for 2021.
Crews are now working overtime as grapes come in from the field. The plump red fruit is hand-sorted. Berries are separated from stems during the crushing process and then sent to these massive vats for fermentation. As for the smoke this summer,
you won't taste it in our final wines at all because of the technology that we have and also what we do during fermentation.
a few kilometers away, the wine grapes are coming in from the field at Balwinder Dhaliwal's vineyards. He's not worried about the smoke taint in his wines either.
I think this is the best vintage since we're doing this, almost 25-30 years.
The best vintage?
The best vintage, I will say, for the red.
Ultimately, that will be for consumers to decide when tastings begin next year. But for now, BC winemakers are optimistic they won't be disappointed.
The people, they love wine, they know about the wine, they definitely can tell the difference this year.
Brady Strachan, CBC News, Oliver, British Columbia.
Hey, I'm Julia.
And I'm Chris.
And this is Our Vancouver.
From wine to food. While many businesses struggle to find staff amid the pandemic, a Metro Vancouver nonprofit is helping to fill that gap. It runs a program that teaches at-risk youth how to be cooks. Our John Hernandez caught up with one of their graduates.
Learning is fun, actually, so there's never too much to learn, so.
From the cooking to the cleaning, Jewel George knows her way around a kitchen.
It's another environment to come in and let go.
She's an Indigenous youth who recently started working at the Caterer in Burnaby. It's safe to say she loves it.
It's relaxing. You get to pretty much work hands-on.
George is a graduate of a cooking program at the nonprofit Dan's Legacy. It launched in February and gives at-risk youth culinary skills and helps them find work.
Going to school, it gave me more skills and more knowledge of cooking, so it was a really good idea, and I'm glad I made the decision.
She's just a great person to be around, and she's excited to come to work. She's never sad. She's always happy.
Her new boss, Shay Kelly, is grateful she ended up in his kitchen. Like many business owners in BC, he's had challenges finding staff amid a pandemic-induced labor shortage. The hospitality sector alone lost about 40,000 workers over the last 18 months, according to the BC Restaurant and Food Services Association.
If you have owners, people that were always growing the business, actually working in the business again, they're like getting their sleeves rolled up again, and they're getting tired again, and there's no backup, there's no staff.
It's a problem that he thinks can be solved if you know where to look and give someone a chance.
People just need opportunities. If you give people opportunities in life, you don't know where they'll go. They might flourish.
An opportunity that George hopes will lead to a long career in the kitchen and inspire others like her to find their passion.
Keep your heads up and keep on going, and it's give it a shot. If you don't like it, that's not yours. It's okay. Well, keep going, and you'll find something that you would like.
John Hernandez, CBC News, Burnaby.
While many restaurants have taken a real hit during the pandemic, some are quietly booming, and that has led to the rise of the ghost kitchen in BC. Burnette Gilles explains what it is and why it just might be here to stay.
It's not your typical restaurant dining experience. No servers, no dining hall, no parking lot. These are ghost kitchens, only preparing food for takeout and delivery apps.
Just how we are shopping online, we can be eating online as well.
This 23-year-old is running a sushi pizza restaurant virtually. Orders ding in from food delivery apps like Uber Eats and Skip the Dishes, and Nguyen and his brother get to work.
All of the smaller things were less orders, then they come through my email and through my phone.
As an Uber driver, Nguyen saw many opportunities in the restaurant industry were locked away.
There were so many struggling restaurants in Vancouver that only had their kitchen open. All the chairs were stacked on the tables, and I realized that you can start a business out of just a kitchen.
He's now one of 12 ghost kitchens, renting this commissary, a shared kitchen space, and a more affordable way to follow his passion for food and beverage rather than a brick and mortar.
Definitely don't have a lot of capital to be running my own restaurant, right? But this is a great place for me to test things out, right?
Like regular restaurants, ghost kitchens must have a permit, food safe training, and a food safety plan. The Ministry of Health does not have data on how many ghost kitchens operate in BC, but the operator of this commissary kitchen says the demand is red hot.
The demand just keeps growing. Our wait list here keeps growing. We're full across the 3 locations. We can't keep up.
Maharaj says about 40 ghost kitchen hopefuls are on a waiting list to use this space. Long wait lists also mean some have to find new solutions, like this.
We did want to do a ghost kitchen, but it's just very popular, very in high in demand right now. There's long wait lists.
So they found a shuttle bus on Kijiji.
It was a relief, actually, because we were sitting there waiting and just wondering what to do.
The bus sits in the parking lot of a brewery and packs food to go and for Uber Eats. Meanwhile, for those working in their respective stations, ghost kitchens have provided a new purpose during the pandemic.
We are online. We can change up our menu. We can test different product items. We can start several brands.
Flexibility from the kitchen to pickup to your doorstep. Burnette Gilles, CBC News, Vancouver.
Coming up, more creative ways BC businesses are filling the worker shortage. You are watching Our Vancouver. I'm Gloria Makarenko. Now, so many BC businesses are having to find ways to fill a worker shortage created by staff not willing to comply with the vaccine mandate. Some of the solutions involve family. Others are asking for volunteers. Greg Rasmussen has more on that story.
So this is our dining room area.
Day one, and the new mandate is already causing problems at this long-term care facility, where 10 staff are barred because they haven't been vaccinated.
There's been lots of conversation of what are we going to do? What's the plan moving forward, and how are we going to get done what we need to get done? We call this Main Street.
Maintaining minimum staffing levels is leading to tough conversations.
And those are the most difficult when we're telling somebody, hey, I thought I know you thought you were leaving at 3, but I don't have someone to relieve you and you actually now need to stay till 11.
In some BC health districts, up to 12% of workers remain unvaccinated. From the province, a direct plea, as well as tough words.
This is a measure that protects you as a healthcare worker and keeps you able to care for those who are more vulnerable.
They will be subject to progressive discipline up to and including termination.
A vaccine-related staffing crunch is also facing Toronto Transit. 15,000 workers are being told to either get the shot or don't come to work. It's also checking with retirees to see if they're willing to return to the job.
We'll have a better idea over the next few days, where we may face some labor issues, and then plan our service or our operations accordingly.
Vaccine mandates are also coming at month's end for Air Canada and WestJet employees. Similar requirements at United Airlines in the U.S. recently saw most holdouts get the jab to keep their jobs.
Very complex.
Businesses are seeking legal advice on these new, largely untested laws.
And they have to demonstrate to their customers that, and be seen by their customers to be doing everything they can to provide a safe working environment. But at the same time, they don't want to lose 20% of their workforce.
Despite the workforce pain, vaccine proponents say the mandates are a vital step in slowing the pandemic. Greg Rasmussen, CBC News, Vancouver.
Now, back in 1985, Vancouver's Imagination Workshop invited people to drop off their junk. And kids then turned the discards into amazing costumes for Halloween. Here's a look back through our CBC archives.
For those of you who are running around in a frenzy trying to figure out what in the world you're going to put your kids into for Halloween costumes tomorrow night, we have some interesting and easy ideas of things you can make with items you can find right around your own home. We've got this kind of rubber stuff. What would you do with that?
The swamp thing.
The swamp thing. That's a great idea. Reba, what are you going to be for Halloween?
Cabbage Patch Kid.
I'm going to be a spider. That's about as scary as you can go. Mm-hmm. And how about you, Brendan?
Superman.
You're going to go with Superman. I got just the thing for you. What would you do with this?
Put it out into a red cape.
And make a cape of it? That's perfect. You could make a perfect cape for Superman. That's a great idea. Here's something that you might have around your house. Some crepe paper. You could be a lion, a perfect lion's mane. You'd make a great lion, Reva. And this is something everybody's got at home, too. Polyester fiber fur. What would you do with that?
Cloud.
Santa Claus. Santa Claus. A cloud is a great idea. And look at this. Is it just a couple of cardboard circles with pieces of plastic cut in them? You'd make great giant glasses. Yeah. Or if you work someplace where you can get some plastic bubble wrap, you could wrap this around yourself. Another cheap and easy idea would be to take a couple of pieces of Bristol board and make playing cards. You could wear one front and back, or just one. Just heavy white cardboard. Now, how about this cardboard tubing? This is an easy thing to find. You could use these for rockets if you were going to be a rocket man.
Or you could put black balloons on the ends of them and put numbers on them, and then you can have weights.
That's right. That's a good idea. So there's lots of easy and economical solutions for Halloween costumes. So go out there and have a really scary Halloween. This is Ann Garber for Midday.
When we bring you stories here at CBC Vancouver, we have award-winning photographers out capturing the images that say so much. Still images add context and bring a lot more to the understanding of an event or an issue. Here are some of the latest from what was happening this past week. And that's all for Our Vancouver for this week. I hope you can join me weekday afternoons on CBC Radio 1 for On the Coast. For now, bye-bye.